I think I'd have a lot of fun running against Chris Dodd. And I'd probably beat him because his main, argument against me is going to be, well, the guy doesn't have any experience. And I want to have that argument with Chris Dodd. So I can say, well, what experience don't I have? I haven't spent my entire life undermining the economy and wrecking the financial system. I mean, Chris Dodd has been in the Senate for 30 years. And then he was in the House of Representatives for 6 years. Before that, he was in law school. He's never worked. He's never had a job. He just writes legislation and expects everybody else to live with it. So, the problem with Chris Dodd, he doesn't have any real-world experience. He only has Washington experience. So I think that'll be a very interesting race. And, of course, there's all these video clips of me, predicting the financial crisis. There's the same clips of him denying that it was going to happen. He was right there, right? Fannie and Freddie are on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, they're just days away. And he's on television. There's sound. There's nothing wrong with him. I mean, so it's a perfect race. My only fear is that he drops out. One of the things they said, Peter Schiff says that the recession is the cure, that we need the recession. They're trying to say that I'm a bad person because I'm enjoying the recession. I want the recession. That I don't want to solve it. I don't want to fix it. But I don't want the recession because I think it's fun or I think it's a great thing. It's unfortunate, but it's necessary. What I didn't want was the artificial boom. That's what I didn't want. I didn't want all the things that the government did that made the recession necessary. But we've already done those things. We can't undo them. So we need to let the market work. Yeah, asset prices are too high. The solution isn't to try to keep them propped up. The solution is to let them fall. You got people employed in companies that are non-profitable. The solution isn't to subsidize them. It's to let them go bankrupt. There are people that have jobs that are not productive. Why do we want to maintain them? Yes, it's unfortunate when somebody loses their job. But we can't destroy other jobs to maintain them, especially jobs that are more productive. People think the government has resources. They don't have anything. And if the government bails somebody out, where are they getting the money? And in order to bail one person out, they got to take it. If they're going to divert capital to General Motors or Chrysler or AIG, who are they taking capital from? What businesses are failing in order to prop these businesses up? And we were watching on the program when they're trying to convince everybody that we have to bail out the financial firms, that we have to bail out the banks. Why did we have to bail them out? Why can't they fail? Why did we have to bail out, the investment banks? So they can get these huge bonuses? I mean, why couldn't they have gotten pink slips instead of bonuses? Like the whole country would have collapsed if these guys would have lost their jobs. Now, people say, well, but if we hadn't bailed them out, the recession would have been worse. Yes, it would have been worse. But then it would get better. What they're doing is just makes it a lot worse. It's the exact same argument that they made in 2001 and 2002. When the NASDAQ bubble burst, we were going to have a pretty severe recession. I mean, nothing like the one we're getting now. But we should have had a pretty severe recession in 2001, 2002. I mean, we had a pretty big bubble, by historic standards. We did a lot of stupid things during the NASDAQ bubble. A lot of crazy companies were started that never should have started. They hired people. They rented office space. We had a lot of malinvestments that needed to be unwound, right? But instead of letting it happen, George Bush was, the government's going to cure the recession. We're going to stimulate the economy. We're going to run deficits. We're going to prime the pump. We're going to get Alan Greenspan to slash interest rates. We're going to fight the recession. And they got us out of the recession right into this depression. Because in order to keep the economy out of recession, they inflated a real estate bubble. They caused the economy to take on trillions and trillions of dollars of debt that would never have come into existence had it not been for the government stimulus. Now, there's no question that what Bush and Greenspan did in 2001, 2002 made that recession shallow. No question. No question, had they followed my advice back then and did what I said, we would have had a deeper recession in 2001 and 2002. But are we better off now because of what we did? Were we better off trading that short-term gain for all the long-term pain? I think it would have been much better off to have a deeper recession back then. Now, of course, the recession never would have been necessary had the Fed not inflated all of the bubble during the 1990s. Right? But once they did that, the best course of action is to let the market work. The market didn't cause the problem, but the market can solve it. But the solutions are never painless. And of course, the politicians want to pretend that there's a pain-free way to get out of trouble. That if they just print enough money, everything's going to be fine. And that's what people are thinking now. People are like, whew, we dodged a bullet there. Crisis is over. You know, for a minute we thought this was going to be another depression. It's a good thing we got all that stimulus. You know, everything is okay. It's not okay. This stimulus is the problem. It's not the solution. We're about to overdose on stimulus. That's the problem. Because what we're stimulating is not the economy. We're actually sedating the economy. We're stimulating a disease that's killing the economy.